line and into the end zone for the touchdown. Good protection. Going for the end zone. Open, making the grab. Two. Blitz coming. Pass is reached for and pulled in for the play action. Wide open touchdown. Taking the snap will be Brandon Bolden. He'll keep it. He'll run. And he'll run all the way to the end zone. Line. O'Connell to the end zone. Touchdown Raiders. Second and goal. Myers is going to throw. Touchdown. No huddle here. Stick. Looking. Look out from behind. And the ball is out. It's going to be ruled. It's alive and going to the end zone right now. So second down and 13. Oh, baby.
Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in beautiful night out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, and Ryan Holmes is ASRHOLM22. Ryan, how you doing today? The Raiders destroy the Chargers. Before we get to that one real quick, I want to thank everybody listening in Los Angeles, DC, British Columbia, Oregon, San Francisco, California, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Idaho. Yeah, the Raiders destroyed the Chargers here. They ended this 100% ends the Brandon Staley era, which one that was, they pretty much split with us every year. So I can't say I totally enjoyed it. The Raiders definitely could have beat the Chargers a little bit more than they did than they should have had in that era. But they just didn't. I mean, they weren't. I thought prime time really showed that this was like they weren't going to be denied tonight. They weren't going to be embarrassed. They were going to come to play, and they came to play on the defensive end. And offensively, they did what they had to do, and they just forced so many turnovers, especially on their own end. We talked about turnovers on their own end last podcast, and they just dominated this team from the get-go.
Yeah, the Brandon Staley era has been over for a while. I would be shocked if it continued into the weekend. I would think with 10 days ahead that the Chargers will go ahead and make a move probably tomorrow or Saturday, get a new coach in place for the final 3-game stretch for them. But kudos to Antonio Pierce. He got the team fired up. They came out. Clearly, this team hasn't quit. They played hard. If you want to know what a team looks like when they quit, just the Chargers showed you what that looks like tonight. They looked like they didn't want to be there. Ball security didn't happen all night long. I know they were playing with a quarterback that hadn't started before, but he'd been around the league for 4 or 5 years. He'd been in the system, but the Raiders defense came to play. The offensive line looked much better with Dylan Parham inside at center. The running game got going a little bit when they were able to divvy up the carries amongst 3 different players. And then when Antonio Pierce said he was going to be aggressive, tonight he did. And they were calling, wildcat formations with Brandon Bolden up 35-0. They were calling halfback or wide receiver passes up 28-0, 42-0. Jacoby Myers got 2 passes off tonight. Looked like everyone is having fun on the sidelines. This needs to carry over into next week. If they come out and lay an egg against the Chiefs, this game didn't really mean anything. But they need to continue this momentum forward if they want to keep fighting for Antonio Pierce to keep this job.
So, I mean, kudos. I mean, exact kudos to him, kudos to the team. And I echo your sentiments that you just said. Like, this just falls on deaf ears if they don't do it again, if they don't do something special next week. You basically, you showed that you're better than what you showed against the Vikings in this game. And they really should have probably won 2 games in a row. They probably should have beat the Vikings and won this game as well. So now, you don't want to jump too far ahead and say, okay, you have that period where it's 24 hours and you enjoy, and you let the guys enjoy this one. You got a little extra time now. I don't know. Bo Hardegree went from the sidelines to upstairs. Now both coordinators were upstairs. So Patrick Graham and Bo Hardegree, I'm not sure if that helped him at all. They seemed like they were more aggressive. They seemed like they were throwing the ball down the field a little bit more, especially when they were in plus territory. They got Tucker involved. Barely caught that first touchdown, but caught caught like 4 times. But then but it's showing the ability to get open. Like you can't like these corners and these safeties can't stay with him. It's pretty clear that they can't. So if he can continue that progress as well, that'd be nice to see. And I think also, Malcolm Kuntz. I mean, I know what people talk about Malcolm Kuntz a whole lot on Raiders Twitter. He played well, probably his coming out party, and he just, I mean, and he just, was a menace as far as getting to the quarterback today.
Yeah, I think they finally moved Trey Tucker inside of the slot. You didn't see him just running vertical routes outside as the number one. He got inside and worked across the field where he could use his speed to run away from defenders. And you saw him get man-to-man coverage where there was no safety help. They basically had a safety on him on one of those plays with Derwin James, and the other one was against Michael Davis. But if you're going to double Devontae and you're going to put safeties on that side of the field, you need speed in the middle of the field to take advantage of that. And Hunter Renfrow doesn't bring that. Hunter Renfrow's more of that intermediate underneath shifty guy, but he's not going to challenge teams vertically. So it's good to see them use Tucker in that role. And that's the role he might have to have at times going inside when you have Myers and Adams on the outside, and then you can move Adams inside as well. And then I thought defensively, I thought Malcolm Kuntz had a coming out party tonight on national TV. If you can call Amazon Video national TV, I don't know how many households have it, but it was a national primetime game, and he beat a really good left tackle twice for 2 strip sacks and got around the quarterback and finished. That's what's been missing. He hasn't been able to finish. He's been getting around the quarterback, but he did it tonight, and it led to 2 fumbles that the Raiders were able to recover. One was Tyree Wilson. The other one, obviously, John Jenkins went to the house. And Max Crosby got around the quarterback a couple times, but he was basically in cruise control once they got the big lead, and then he came off the field quite a bit there once the lead got up there. But it was good to see the Raiders defense play with energy and speed and passion and stuff that we haven't seen until this season. They're trying to match. They're never going to match Max Crosby's effort, but you're seeing that kind of infiltrate the defense, and you're seeing people run to the football, and that's what good defenses do. There was a letdown in the second half, clearly, when they got the huge lead, allowing 21 points in that second half. So, but they did put all the backups in there in the fourth quarter. There was a lot of, Chris Smith played, Amani Burney played, Tyler Hall got a bunch of run, Luke Masterson. We saw Curtis Bolden out there. So they essentially took all the starters out. Isaiah Pola-Mao got some run in the second half. But I thought overall it was a great game. It was a great game for Antonio Pierce to walk in and have that post-game meeting with Mark Davis. But he's got it in front of him again. If he can go out and he can beat the Chiefs or give them a really good game and then beat the Broncos and say, hey, look, these were 3 divisional games down the stretch. We won 2 or we won all 3 of them. Then he's got a chance to keep this job. But he can't go out next week and lose 31-10, because that's going to show you that the Chiefs are a vulnerable animal right now. They need to go into Arrowhead and put up a good fight. They can't lose a game by 3 touchdowns next week.
No, 100%. And what the Raiders have left right now is you have a game against the Chiefs on the road, you have a game against the Colts on the road, and you have the game against the Broncos on the road. And I know the
That's
Chiefs
at home.
Oh, no, sorry, the Broncos are at home. They started the season with the Broncos, they end the season with the Broncos. But this is an opportunity, go out there and win. Go out there and win 2 out of 3. Like, you know what I mean? If you lose by a late Butker field goal in KC, and then you win the last 2 games of the year, then I can sit down and have a conversation, and then I could say, okay, you know what? I will. He's definitely in the conversation. If they lose all three, if they lose, 2 out of 3, it's just like the last 2 games of the year. Like I know that the Colts are a team that have played pretty well this year with Gardner Minshew, and they've been winning some games. The last 2 games of the year are winnable. I mean, they you have to. I mean, they're are they actually are winnable? Like even the Chief game, like go out there and shot the Chiefs on Christmas Day. Like yes, it's a 10 a.m. start your clock in Kansas City, but at the very least you played on Thursday. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not a regular week, so you got time to get acclimated for it. It's gonna be weather stuff like that, but it's about time that I mean, that they get this kid ready to play on a road in a road game and kind of play good football, if you will. O'Connell 20 or 34, 240, 248, 12 yards, 12 yards per. Then you got 4 touchdowns, no picks, and then 1 sack, and that was huge. I mean, just getting rid of the ball. You know, I mean, they played a team that didn't want a pass rush. It seemed like today. O'Connell was outdone by Jacoby Myers, who had a perfect. I think they had a perfect quarterback rating today. But in all seriousness, I mean, the kid did play well today.
Yeah, he bounced back clearly. He had already faced this Chargers defense, so he was familiar with some of the concepts he was going to see. Um, he saw some of that against Miami because Vic Fangio Staley comes from the Fangio tree. So he's played this style of defense a couple of times now. So he's taken the quizzes before, and he passed the test tonight. So it wasn't like it was against the Vikings, where it was a unique defense that only one team in the league runs, and there's really no way to see it prior to that. But I think he handled that adversity. He bounced back and showed um, that he can still be a viable. To me, I still don't see him as a long-term answer, even though he threw 4 touchdowns. I still think he's a backup quarterback in this league, but he's a guy that's going to stick around on the roster.
Yeah.
And you can continue to develop him. I do want to give Dylan Parham credit for moving inside. It's something we talked about on the preview show that we saw, and I know I posted early in the first quarter. The offensive line looked different. And then I had to remind people that, yes, we did talk about that. We're not overreacting to this game. He actually played pretty well in the second half at center against the Vikings. There were a couple of commenters that were like, he played so well they didn't score. Well, there's 11 players on offense. If one player plays well, it doesn't mean they're going to score points. So you need 11.
I've never heard somebody's blame the center for the team not scoring. But go ahead.
Someone took a shot at the center because they didn't score. But and you got to tip your cap to Jordan Meredith. He went into left guard.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a liability today. You never noticed him during the game. Getting beat in the run game, giving up a sack. So he more than held his own at left guard. Was a little bit of letdown. I think Grassu went in to play right guard late in the game. Van Roten came out, and then that's when the offensive line kind of faltered there in the second half. But overall, I thought the offensive line played a very good game, considering they had 3 backups or 3 people playing out of position. I thought Aiden O'Connell got the ball out of his hands, was decisive. We saw him take shots down the field. We saw him get the ball to the running backs, which is something we asked for. And overall, the offense, you can't really say anything about the offense. They had a very good game today.
Yeah.
They need to carry that over to next week.
And this is the Tucker line today. Maybe you could add maybe a couple more catches to it, but the yards per catch at around, I think it was 19.7 today. That's what he's there for, and that's the reason why I don't think Renfro has a future on this team, because he just doesn't have that kind of speed. I know Raider fans don't love to hear that, but I just think Tucker is going to be Tucker. And Mayer got involved. Had 4 catches with a touchdown. So that was nice to see. We both are very big fans of Michael Mayer and getting that middle of the field going for the Raiders. And then, hey, listen, number 35 actually got more than 1 carry in this ball game. Did not fumble the football. 17 carries, 69 yards, 4.1 yards per carry, and a touchdown for Zamir White. For Zamir White scored a touchdown in this game, so you knew it was good for the Raiders.
Yeah, Tucker scored his first touchdown. He actually got two. You saw Mayer get in the end zone. You saw Zamir White get in the end zone. I had a buddy reach out to me this afternoon looking for a flex play, and he was trying to ask me about Zamir White, and I'm like, no, you don't want to play Zamir White in fantasy. And I texted him after the first touchdown. My bad. You saw Brandon Bolden score a touchdown. You know things are going good when
Brandon
Bolden finds the
Bolden.
end zone.
Brandon Bolden.
DJ Turner on special teams making tackles, forcing fumbles. So it was a good Raider win all around. They dominated in all three phases. Special teams, defense, turnovers, defensive turnovers, touchdowns, running the ball, throwing the ball. A lot went well, and I'm sure Mark Davis was enjoying every second of it.
I'm sure he was. And before I get to the Jones one hand interception, the Ryan and I text back and forth during the game, and somebody tweeted out in the Twitterverse, "Are we sure the Chargers are not Bishop Sycamore?" I thought that was absolutely. I was on the floor. I was choked. I was actually eating when that happened. When I read it, and I almost choked. It was really funny.
I was going to tweet out a picture of that Bishop Sycamore coach. I forget his name, and say, I'm going to tell my kids this was Brandon Staley.
Yeah, you should. Yes, you should have. You should have. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I mean, Jones, the great interception. It was crazy because like you could. I think that's the attention to detail that you like. He was busting on that play immediately when he saw Eckler. I mean, Eckler going. Eckler had that motion, and he ran that. He cut that play off so quickly. He almost overran it. He could get the ball. He had to go. He had to go back and get the ball. In order to intercept it. Good play there. I mean, Patrick Graham has been high level this year. I mean, he's been for the pieces that he has too. I mean, obviously, it does listen. It's not. People can say, oh, look at the quarterbacks they played, dude. I've sat here and watched the Raiders play quarterbacks who don't belong in the NFL go 5 touchdowns against the Raiders. So I don't want to hear that I don't want to hear that part. He's doing his job, and for the more. I mean, they would have pretty much only gave up 7 points in this game if the coach didn't want to put in some backups later in.
Or if Amik didn't blow a coverage and give him a 75-yard touchdown. But
Amik is good for that, but he'll get a turnover later on in the season. Make you forget about it.
Yeah, I actually, that's a good point on Patrick Graham. I tweeted out earlier this week that a lot of people just assume that if AP gets the job, that Patrick Graham's automatically staying as defensive coordinator. I absolutely believe Patrick Graham's going to get head coaching interview opportunities across the league. Now, whether he gets offered a job or not, we don't know that, but there is a very real chance that if Antonio Pierce stays, that he's going to have to replace the offensive and defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
We did see Marvin Lewis on the sideline wearing a Raiders hoodie tonight, and maybe that's something that might happen. He has a relationship with Marvin Lewis. Obviously, Marvin's been in the building.
Did we find out anywhere about those Raider hoodies that they wore tonight being on sale
anywhere? I was Googling it. If anyone watches this video and knows where you can buy those, put it in the comments.
They're pretty
so
fire.
We can see it. I've been Googling it all night, and I can't find it. You would assume it would be on the Raider Image or the NFL shop, but I didn't see it. But yeah, this is not as easy as keep AP. You're going to keep Patrick Graham.
No.
The good news is Patrick Graham is under contract, so if a team hires him as a way, the Raiders would get, as long as they don't fire him, they would get a third-round pick in compensation because the rule states he has to be with you for 2 years, which Patrick Graham has.
And Patrick Graham is his contract match up with the head coach? It's not 6 years. It's probably like 4.
No. They usually get 3 or 4.
3 or 4 years. Okay, yeah. So, but he is under contract. Who was the last Raider assistant to get a head coaching job? That's.
I would. That's it. I would want to keep him around if at all possible, no matter who the head coach is. He may be the Raiders head coach. We don't know, but I would have a hard time thinking that if Mark Davis, Champ Kelly, whoever the GM decides, they do want to keep or they want to move on from Antonio Pierce, that they would keep Patrick Graham. around as a head coach. You can. I don't see how. I don't see that being a viable option. Although I do think Patrick Graham could be a head coach for another team. The
Yes,
path for him to be the head coach for this team
it's
and
not there.
bypassing Antonio Pierce is hard for me to see.
Yeah, it's not there. I mean, if he was going to do it, he would. I mean, it's probably. I mean, it's best for the Raiders that they did it like this instead of having Patrick Graham be the head coach, because Patrick Graham was not going to go back to be defensive coordinator if they moved on from him. So it makes sense. As far as that goes, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, this was, but I do want to keep things in perspective a little bit. As once they got to 21-0, it was like, okay, they're gonna kill this team. So my other thoughts were just gone. The draft thoughts were gone at that point. But they got to continue. They got to continue forward with this. They can't rest on their laurels. And I know, like, just like to me, like, I know how I felt watching on Sunday, just 4 days ago. This team didn't score a point in a football game against. Yes, I like Flores. Yes, I like things he does, but he doesn't have a lot of shutouts on his resume. And usually, I mean, all you basically needed was 2 field goals, and you were good to go. And that is still fresh in my head as well too. So the Chief game, with all this time to get ready for it, you have to find a way to compete. And then when that fourth quarter comes, 17-17, 20-20, but find a way to stay in this game.
Yeah, and this is set up again for Antonio Pierce, and we're gonna celebrate Victory Friday, which is going to go into Victory Saturday, which is going to go into Victory Sunday. It's been a long time. It's been 3 weeks since the Raiders have been able to celebrate a victory, but he's still going to have to stack more wins. And as good as it feels to punk a divisional rival like they did, if at the end of this thing, if the 3 wins he has are the Giants with Tommy DeVito in his first start, a Jets team that can't get out of their own way, and a victory over Brandon Staley's last game with Easton Stick, I don't think that's good enough to keep the job, regardless of how many points they scored tonight.
Nope, nope. You
He
got it.
needs to keep the momentum rolling. The players
Mhm.
are playing hard for him, and I think they're going to go to Kansas City. I'm not going to predict they're going to win that game. I think that's going to be a very good game, and for Raider fans to really watch and see how the team plays in that game. And let's see what the offense does. If the offense goes back to being can't move the ball, can't convert third down, can't score a point, well, we know the Chargers basically quit in this game. We've already said that on this podcast. Let's see what happens when the
Yeah.
other team has something invested in it. And it's hard to beat NFL teams the way the Raiders did. That's the most points they've ever scored in their history. NFL players train all week and play hard,
Yeah.
and they're going out there. But the effort the Chargers put on film tonight was grotesque.
That's bad. That's really bad. I mean, excuse me. They got the Bronco. I mean, the Raiders have 3 playoff caliber teams. Like I'm only putting them in that category because they're listed in the playoff and in the hunt, whatever. So they have one. They have, yeah, so they three playoff caliber teams. And if he goes up there and just gives it, if they give a dud performance against the Broncos, then then he's just they're just too up and down. And you can make the argument that when they play a real a real team that's invested, like you said, or a real quarterback, then you can forget about it. Did you see what Jermaine Illuminar said?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Y'all favorite rusher ain't do shit tonight, referring to number 52,
Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, which is fun.
Hey, it's amazing what happens when you actually chip him and use a tight end and a running back over there and you get the ball in your hands. And
Yeah, I
someone
wonder
should
if
tell Josh McDaniels that you're allowed to do that.
yeah, and I wonder if Khalil actually spoke to the media because he's known for when he loses to the Raiders to not talk to the media after he loses to the Raiders. So, um,
Am I
but
crazy or did I see Amir Abdullah drag Derwin James like 3 yards after contact tonight? Because that actually, I'm pretty sure that happened.
was it Was that Derwin James on that second touchdown trying to cover Tucker on that play? Was that Derwin James on that play?
No, the first one was James. The second one was Michael Davis.
Michael Davis. Oh, okay. Yeah, they just can't. Once that kid puts his foot in the ground and goes a different direction, with his speed is ridiculous. So I don't know.
He's got to catch the ball though. I still don't think he scored a touchdown on the first one. I'll
Me
take
either.
it. I still don't think he caught the ball.
It's funny. We all sent the same text with my other Raider group text. We all text each other the same thing. We were like, if this game mattered, if the Raiders were in playoff position, I guarantee you that wouldn't be a touchdown for some reason. But yeah, I mean, he triple caught it. Like I'm not. He obviously hands work. I think it's hands, and when he's going towards the sidelines or the end line, he just gets there's some nerves there or something, because every one of his the play against Miami, and then I forgot the other one he dropped, but then
Last week,
last week,
Vikings.
right? Vikings, right, on the sideline, and then like this one here, the end line's right there. It's like almost like it's a ghost. It's talking to him. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, the Raiders dominated this one. Go ahead.
Hopefully, no one listened to us and bet the under because we were completely off on that. That game went way over.
It's crazy though, because like
84.
like it's nuts, because because the week before was almost the same. It was the same thing, that the Patriots didn't do anything, lost 6-0 to the Chargers, and then they come back and score all these points against.
Did you see that tweet from Greg Rosenthal in the middle of the game that the Raiders were only 16 points from being a positive point differential for the season? I couldn't believe that when I saw that stat. They're probably pretty close after the game. It's got to be somewhere in single digits right now.
But that let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can see if it's on there right now. I don't think
this team hasn't scored all. I mean, that's kudos to the defense. That shows you how well the defense has played this year to have close to a positive point differential.
Well, it says negative 15 points right now.
15.
But I think it's a meek. God damn it, a meek.
But still, negative 15. I would have thought it'd be 100.
I know. But they are, and I think one thing that team is doing is that they are becoming the Raiders have the best home record in the AFC West. They're 5-3 right now. Everybody else is 4-3, and the Chargers are 2-5. The Raiders, that's the thing. Like, if they beat the Broncos last game of the year, at 6-3 at home, they've not been a really good home team in a long time. So now the next step is they have these couple of road games coming up here. They're 1-5 on the road. They got to find a way to win a road game. I mean, so that means they haven't won a road game since week 1.
Denver.
Week 1, that's bad. And like, we have a young quarterback. That's the biggest step he takes is winning games on the road. That's the hardest thing for them to do. So we'll see if they can do it against the Chargers. I'm so sorry.
It was good to see Devontae Adams in a good mood during this game too. It's good to see Devontae having fun, because
you know who's always in a good mood?
The Raiders need Devontae back next year.
They do. It was actually, I mean, like I noticed Jacoby Myers is a good teammate. Like, he is always in a good mood. He's always like tap people on the shoulders. He always has whenever you see that shot of just the face mask, the little tight shot, yeah. He's always smiling. Like, he's number one. He's better than I thought he was. I mean, as a receiver, like, if for a guy who runs, a
4.8,
a 4.9, a 5.0, like, he gets open and he makes plays down the field. He makes plays all the time, and I do love the one thing I love about Michael Mayer is that he'll be a couple yards short of the first down, but once he collects the football on the pass, like, nobody's stopping him from just falling forward to get the first down. He did like 3 times today, where he
it's like Mark Navarro.
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. I can't. I mean, that's the part where
Ben Coates.
It's a Ben Coates, the 87 club. That's the one thing where you're thinking about, like, if they just had a promising young quarterback, they're not coming into the Raiders with nothing. Like, they have. I mean,
it's not Bryce Young in Carolina.
It's not. You have Devontae. You have and then you get Tucker and all. Yeah, a couple tight ends who can catch the football. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, until they're mathematically eliminated, I can't. I won't go any drafts. Somebody texted me that they was like, "Yo, save the draft when they're mathematically eliminated." So I was like, "All right." I was like, "Fair enough, fair enough." I will save all draft talk until the Raiders are mathematically eliminated. But big win today. Good win for the boys today. I gotta give them props. They smashed the Chargers. Ended a coaching career with that one. Nepotism will make him be like a defensive back coach or something like that in the league. But besides that, I don't see where I think we're hearing from Brandon Staley ever again.
No, they should do like the old mafia days. Just put him in a car in Vegas, drive him out to the desert, and just leave him out there after this game. Um, yeah, I got to work this week, and so I won't even get to see the all 22 until probably Monday. Like
Oh, okay, there you go.
I want to fire it up, but there won't be any clips until next week. But I'm going to have all week to do it because Raiders aren't going to play for 10 days, so we'll see what happens.
And before we head out, I would say this about AP. Like, if you want to show me growth, this is almost like a mini buy. You just had a buy. The team should be pretty pretty rested right now. Like, show me that preparedness can carry over, that you can have this team prepared to play a tough opponent in Arrowhead. They're going to be swearing, they're going to be throwing stuff at you. Like, we all know what it's like. We all seen like the fan videos of when the players are running on the field and off the field at Arrowhead. Like, show me this, and then you could be in the conversation. If it's 17-0 in the first quarter, then and it's a typical 31-17 Chiefs win, I'm good. I'm good with AP.
I heard someone, or when AP came out at halftime, and they asked me, what are your thoughts for the second half? He said, press on the gas pedal harder, or whatever he said, something like that. I thought, man, some Chargers fan probably really did AP dirty when he was a kid. And then I realized there are no Chargers fans. So I was like, why does he hate the Chargers so much? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure there was no Chargers fans when he was growing up either. But
that's funny. My friend, one of my buddies, texted me at halftime. He was like, he pressed me. He I don't know what rap song it is, but the chorus goes gas pedal, gas pedal. He just said just don't even stop. It's because he hates the Chargers as well. He was like, I don't care, just keep beating the Chargers. Let's keep beating them.
he had the emergency brake on the whole game last week. There was no gas pedals, so it's good they found it.
Hey, listen, dude, you score touchdowns, get turnovers, all that stuff like that, tackle. The Raiders did it all, and they also had a good pass rush as well to do stuff today as well. So Raiders 63, Chargers did what, 21? They got 21. 21 garbage 21 points. Those points shouldn't even count. We should be over. We should be plus 14 in the plus 14.
It was funny. I don't think my brother was watching the game, and I just kept texting him, touchdown Raiders, touchdown Raiders, touchdown Raiders. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, touchdown Raiders, touchdown Raiders. Like, I just kept sitting. I'm like, man, it's 35-0 and it's still the second quarter. Like, he's like, you're kidding me. And I'm like, no.
That's crazy. That is nuts. That's nuts. All right, Raider Nation. I don't know if you have anything else. I think this is just like, I don't know. It's kind of like the reverse of last week. It was like we had nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Because they scored 0. Now we have nothing else to say because they scored 63. So, good job. Good job by that team. Good job by that coach. I don't know if that makes a difference to having Bo upstairs. But we'll see next week, because the Chiefs offense has come back to the pack, but their defense is a solid unit. So, and Spagnuolo should have something ready for a young quarterback.
We'll see. We heard Pierce say they were ready for the crossing routes last time they had Kansas City. They just didn't stop them. So we'll see what happens. I think the Chiefs have the Patriots this week. I could be wrong, but I would assume they're going to go in and win that game. Mm-hmm. But it would be, and as much as I don't like the Broncos, I'd like the Raiders to play spoiler right here a little bit. Make sure, Patrick Mahomes has never played a playoff game on the road. So maybe they go in there and get a win.
Yeah.
They're probably going to do it anyways, because I think Baltimore's got a 2-game lead on them, but we'll see.
every
See
time they
what
get
happens
close
for the
to
number
it,
one seed.
every time they get close to playing a real playoff game, all these teams like Miami and everybody else who's ahead of them have a ridiculous loss. So every time happens every time. All right, Ryan, you have a great weekend. Take care, Raider
All right.
Nation. 63 points. Enjoy it.
Take care.
Straight pass play for Washington. Penix going far side. End zone